Essential Traffic Rules, Reducing Risks When Operating a Vehicle, Part 1. You will frequently come across circumstances when driving where you are exposed to higher levels of risk than usual. This could be due to other drivers, the state of the road, terrible weather, or any combination of the above. You must modify your driving habits to keep both you and other road users safe, regardless of how much the risk has increased. We'll discuss these risky driving scenarios later on in the video and show you how to minimize the risks they provide. Here, we give a brief overview of these difficulties and go through some of the safety regulations you must follow while driving. Highway driving risks should come first. Risks of highway driving. Highways, freeways, expressways, toll roads, turnpikes, or controlled access roads are all terms for multi-lane, fast roads. Drivers may swiftly and somewhat easily move between various neighborhoods, cities, and states thanks to these congested arterial roadways. Without this kind of route, our highway transportation system could not exist. Highways provide for faster travel because linked, smaller roads have less access to them. Drivers can only enter an expressway at approved interchanges. Drivers driving a limited access highway can continue moving quickly as other drivers enter and exit because there are no traditional same-level crossings to cope with. Highways rank among the safest roads in the U.S. in several respects. Sadly, high speed by itself is synonymous with high risk. Despite all the precautions taken to safeguard drivers utilizing these roads, speeding up certain risks. For instance, driving quickly causes make it harder to detect potential hazards. Increase the distance a driver must travel in order to halt, as well as the time it takes. The frequency and severity of any mishaps or accidents. Because automobiles are typically sandwiched between lanes of moving traffic, using high-speed limited access roads is even riskier. If something goes wrong, you might not have enough room to avoid a collision. Regulations for safe highway driving. One of the easiest methods to guarantee a smooth highway drive is to plan your trip in advance. You will be able to concentrate on maintaining control of your vehicle, regulating your speed, and scanning the road for hazards if you know exactly where you are going and when you must exit. You also need to be aware of the proper way to access and exit highways, how to prevent highway hypnosis, and other risky highway driving behaviors. Arriving on a highway. It is legally compulsory for drivers who are approaching a roadway to give the right-of-way to oncoming traffic. You must merge onto the highway only when there is a safe distance between vehicles, matching your speed to that of the oncoming highway traffic by using the acceleration lane. Selection of a highway lane. According to their intended speed, drivers must decide which lane on the highway to use. The left-hand lane should be used for the fastest traffic, and the right-hand lane for the slowest. Except when you must travel significantly more slowly than other drivers or when you are entering or leaving an expressway, it is often safest to stay in the left-hand lane. To create place for new vehicles joining the expressway in the right-hand lane, move into the center lane as much as you can. If a car is trailing you or is rapidly approaching behind you, merge right so that they can pass you. Maintain your course and speed if it is not safe to merge to the right. Do not accelerate. Leaving a road. Nothing is more crucial than forethought when exiting a limited access highway. Never attempt to cross multiple lanes at once. Instead, be sure to know where your exit is and keep an eye out for guiding signs that point to it as it approaches. In this manner, you can gradually move into the proper exit lane without putting yourself or other drivers in risk. On motorway exit ramps, pay close attention to any signage indicating suggested and required speed limits. You must have slowed down to a safe speed to safely merge with other traffic on the new route by the time you reach the end of the ramp. Resecuring from highway hypnosis. Limited access highways are an example of a long, straight, high-speed route where highway hypnosis can happen. These roads also have little to no landscape and few distractions. The monotony of the driving experience on these roads can make you tired or let your mind wander. Highway hypnosis can prevent you from recognizing and averting problems, which makes it extremely dangerous. Defend yourself from hypnosis on the road by fewer than 8 hours a day spent driving. Take longer and more frequent rests if you need to drive for longer than this. At least every 100 miles or every 2 hours, take a rest. Stretch your legs by stepping outside the vehicle. Continue to move your gaze as you scan the road. Do not fixate on any one area of the road. Other routes for highway driving safety. Finally, remember the following safety advice. Avoid the blind zones of other vehicles. When passing through them, you might have to, but keep moving. Leave the window half open if the weather permits to bring in fresh air and stay awake. When moving quickly, avoid using wireless communication devices like cell phones because even a brief period of distraction could be fatal. Driving after dark. Even on well-lit and otherwise secure stretches of road, driving at night is always riskier than driving during the day. Driving at night not only results in poor sight but also increases your chance of being tired or driving alongside others who are. When at all possible, avoid driving at night. Nevertheless, if you must, keep the following guidelines in mind. Turn on the headlights. In all states, it is required to have your headlights on while driving anytime between sunset and sunrise. You should review the regulations for night driving in your driver's manual because you might need to be aware of some state-specific regulations. For instance, in Texas, drivers must use their headlights from no later than 30 minutes after nightfall to 30 minutes before sunrise, or if other conditions impair vision to fewer than 1,000 feet. When driving around other traffic, keep your low beams on. High lights are capable of blinding other motorists or pedestrians and resulting in a collision. Most state driving rules include guidelines for using high beam headlights. For instance, in Pennsylvania, it is illegal for drivers to be on their high beams within 300 feet of a vehicle they are following or 500 feet from an approaching vehicle. Avoid staring directly into the headlights of other vehicles. Even if the other driver is using their low beam headlights, staring straight into the light might temporarily impair vision. Avert your sight to the lane markers on the right side of the road until any approaching vehicles that don't turn off their highlights have passed. When stopped on a dark road, keep your lights on. Always leave your parking lights, low beams, or danger lights on if a vehicle issue, exhaustion, or another circumstance requires you to pull over on a nighttime, dimly lit highway so that other drivers are aware of your presence.